What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Countdown Scouting Network. I'm your host, Joey Garcia, and today we are going over the best and worst picks of the 2022 NFL Draft based off my opinion. We are going to be doing a lot more draft content over the next 3 or 4 weeks, leading up into our summer scouting and also previewing the NFL preseason. So we've got a lot of work to do on this draft class before we wrap things up and start 2024. So without further ado, let's get into our first of the 2023 NFL Draft content. All right. So my favorite pick of round one, which you've probably been hearing if you listen to any of my podcasts or if you're listening to any other NFL draft podcasts out there, is the Philadelphia Eagles with pick number 9. Again, it seems like every single year we talk about the Philadelphia Eagles somehow sneaking in there and getting a talented player who should not have been at the pick that they were in. For some reason, they end up dropping. For this one right here, obviously, there's character concerns, but I think he landed in the perfect spot. With Fletcher Cox and Brandon Graham and a bunch of other mature guys at his position that he can mentor from. I don't think he's a bad guy. I think he's done a couple immature things. Maybe he's not mature yet, but I think he is a good guy, and I do think he's the best player in this draft, and to get him at 9 is phenomenal, especially when you have players around him that they're going to have that are going to make sure he's doing the right things on and off the field. So I don't even have to get into my talking points. I kind of rolled through it. So let's go to the next one. The worst pick, in my opinion, of round one was the Washington Commanders taking Emmanuel Forbes at pick 16. I like Emmanuel Forbes. I think he's a ball hawk. And I think getting him in the second round is probably where I feel the most comfortable. I think third round would have been a lot better as well, to be honest, just because I don't like his frame. He's 6'1", he's super long, but he came to the combine at 166 pounds. So I kind of wonder what his playing weight is, if it's less than that. I didn't hear anything about him, being sick during the combine. So that's a red flag for me. He tackles really well, and he hits really hard for a 166-pound cornerback. So maybe this is just me being stupid, but I really would have felt more comfortable not taking him as a second corner over a guy like Christian Gonzalez, who, if Jalen Carter didn't fall down outside the top 6, I think Christian Gonzalez at 17 would have been my steal of the draft. Again, he's got good instincts and he's a really good tackler. Honestly, he's thin, and it kind of scares me. Going into round 2, we got Buffalo Bills at pick 59. They ended up getting O'Cyrus Torrence, the guard out of Florida. This guy's big, 6'5", 345 pounds. I heard he was playing around 355, 360 while he was at Florida, as you can see in this picture. He's got a lot of bad weight on his body. He slimmed up for the Senior Bowl. He slimmed up for the Combine. And he even talked about it in some of his interviews that he knows he is overweight. He knows that he's got another 20 pounds he could lose. And honestly, he's a very young prospect as well. I believe he's only 21 years old. So again, if you get him on a good diet, get him down to around 320, 325, and then you can put on another 10 pounds of muscle. He's going to be really good. But even if you played at the weight he's at right now, all this bad weight that's on his body, he's a mauler. He can still move his feet within a short area, and he can get up to second level. He struggles just a little bit with that right now, obviously, because I think he's 25 pounds overweight at least. So, again, this picture's funny. I can't get it out of my head, but I think it's a really good pick right here. I thought he was going to go in the first round to the Buffalo Bills, and I would have loved him right there. Again, this is a steal, one of the steals of the draft in round 2. So I think my least favorite pick, I don't want to say worst pick, I want to say least favorite pick of round 2 is the Carolina Panthers at 39 took Jonathan Mingo out of Ole Miss. So I love Jonathan Mingo. I talked about him a lot. Um, and I thought, honestly, some team's going to get him in the fourth round and it's going to be a steal. He's got some drop concerns, but he's a big body receiver in a draft class that didn't have very many big guys. At 6'2", 220, his RAS score is a 9.86. For those of you who don't know, RAS is relative athletic score, and it goes all the way up to 10. It's a historical data, which means, DK Metcalf, I believe, is a 10, or Calvin Johnson's a 10. So he's just fractions of points off of Calvin Johnson and DK Metcalf and guys of that caliber, with their size and explosiveness and speed. So I had him as wide receiver 10. I really liked him. Again, a fourth, fifth round guy. I think he probably would have gone in the fourth, but they took him as wide receiver. This says wide receiver 2. This is not supposed to be wide receiver 2. This is supposed to be wide receiver 6. And I think they were afraid that he wasn't going to last. I think they saw I think they were thinking one guy, like I was thinking, one, maybe 2 wide receivers would get drafted in the first round. Instead, they had back-to-back 4 wide receivers go. And I think they got scared and wanted to get their guy and they didn't think he'd last to the third round. So they went up, got their guy. I'm not mad at that. I think he's not going to be as plug and play as you would want. Yes, he's wearing number 1 from Ole Miss, and it kind of gives you that A.J. Brown vibe. He kind of plays a little bit like A.J. Brown. His hands are not as consistent as I would like them to be at this point. So, round 3, the best pick. Man, excuse me, I'm going to sneeze for a second. All right, back at it. So Darnell Washington, tight end from Georgia, ended up falling to the Pittsburgh Steelers because he had knee swelling, I guess, and some team doctors did not pass him in their medicals. So he, my nose. He was taken as tight end 7. I really thought there was a chance he sneaks into the first round. Obviously, I didn't know about the knee swelling, but I don't think it's going to be an issue. He was my tight end 2. I had a first-round grade on him. The only tight end I had over him was Dalton Kincaid. But he's a dynamic athlete for his size. He's super explosive. He's a good blocker right now. He blocks like a tackle. You could probably plug him in at tackle, and he'd be a slightly below-average starter, is honestly what I think. But he catches really well. He's got a big frame to throw to. I've seen him hurdling guys at Georgia. It's just ridiculous stuff. You just don't hear as much about him, or you didn't hear that much about him because Georgia had Brock Bowers in front of him, who's coming into the 2024 draft class. So I think this is a steal. Again, he doesn't have to be the guy. They've got Pat Fryermuth right in front of him. And again, I think they're going to run a lot of 12 personnel. I know their offensive line was a little bit of an issue. They shored it up a little bit this year, on top of bringing in Darnell Washington, and running 12 personnel can make up for your offensive line as well. So let's go into my least favorite pick of the third round. I think you all could guess it. San Francisco took Jake Moody with the 99th pick. I don't really like kickers, punters, long snappers being taken in a top 100 pick. And I know if he ends up being, if he ends up being a great kicker, the Ravens guy, I can't think of his name right now, the Gostkowski. If he ends up being like any of those guys, then obviously you think it's a good pick. But Janikowski as well. But I don't like it. I don't like anything other than a day 3 pick. If you want to get someone in the 5th round, get someone in the 5th round. But for me, it's more of a 6th, 7th round. It's just a preference. There's a lot of guys you can get in the 3rd round that can do a lot more for your team, in my opinion. I know that's harsh, but a lot of these kickers that are taken early just don't really pan out. So I'm not going to say much more about that. My favorite pick of round 4, Philly again. Philadelphia at 105 takes Kelee Ringo. I really like Kaylee Ringo. I know preseason we were talking a lot about him in the first round. He struggled. He struggles in zone, and he kind of struggled with sticking with guys in man coverage. But he's got the size, he's got the speed, he's got everything you need. I think he just needs reps. I really do. He's an elite athlete. He's 6'2", 205. He's long, and he just needs reps. I had him as my CB6. He was taken at CB12. Really good value right here. And again, they don't need him to plug and play right now immediately. They can give him a year to rest and learn behind some of their guys. So again, they knocked it out of the park with this draft like they always do. Let's go ahead to my least favorite pick of round 4. And my least favorite pick is the Los Angeles Rams taking Stetson Bennett at pick 128. It's nothing against Stetson Bennett, but he's a smaller quarterback with a weaker arm. Again, it's Bryce Young. You can kind of say the same thing about Bryce Young. Bryce Young has an average arm. I think Stetson Bennett has a really weak arm. Again, Bryce Young can read the field really, really well. There were times when Stetson Bennett was asked to do it himself. He couldn't. You could tell he kind of struggled with picking apart defenses. But I think he's a fine distributor of the ball. I am worried about some maturity issues that he might have. Again, he's an older prospect as well. If you take him in the 6th round, I love it. I love this pick in the 6th round. Up in the 4th round, when I believe this was their 2nd pick. I think this was Los Angeles' 2nd pick of the draft. I don't really like it, to be honest with you. I think you're picking him to be a backup just in case Matt Stafford goes down, which is fine, but you can't go out and sign Carson Wentz for that. You can't grab. I don't know. Oh, well. Enough ranting about that. They're fine. The next one is round 5. Darius Rush, DB from South Carolina. The Indianapolis Colts got him, and I really do like this guy. Him and Cam Smith, I both had as day 2 grades. I thought, Cam Smith would go early 2nd. He ended up going late 2nd. I thought Darius Rush would end up going in about the middle of the 3rd round, and he was here all the way into the 5th. So he's very instinctual. They both play really well. Again, I had a 3rd round grade on him. There's not much really to say. He's a really good man-to-man corner. He can play some zone just because of how instinctual he is. You put him out in space, and he's going to find the ball. So I think he can fit any scheme, and I think he's going to start for them day 1. As a 5th round grade, starting day 1 is amazing. So, I really love this pick. Going into my least favorite pick of round 5, Green Bay. I think they traded up to this pick too, but at pick 149, they ended up getting Sean Clifford from Penn State. And again, a guy who's been in college football for a long time. It seems like Penn State wasn't able to replace him at all. And he's from everything I've heard is that he's a good leader. He's a nice guy. He really tries hard. He's got good work ethic. I saw him in the Hula Bowl, and I've watched a bunch of his games, and I just don't really see it. There's times he makes pretty decent plays, and you're like, yeah, you know what? This guy could be a journeyman in the NFL. And then there's other times where he kind of just loses you the game. And as a guy like that, you just can't really be losing teams' games. So I'm not going to harp on it too much. Whatever, they took a swing in the 5th round. They're thinking, they're going to get a veteran that can help coach and maybe start a couple games. I don't know. My favorite pick of round 6. Sorry that this picture looks a little blurry, but Tennessee Titans took another tackle. They hit offensive line hard this year, which is good because they needed it. They needed a little bit of a revamp. They also got Dylan Radish. They got him at tackle as well. And Peter Skoronski, I believe, as well. So They got some guys to compete at those offensive line spots. Jalen Duncan, 6'6", 310. He's really agile. Again, he's a guy that just needs reps. He's a right tackle. I think you can get him to be a swing tackle. I know you can put him inside to play guard. Um, Again, his size is a little concerning, his height to go into guard, but I think he's got the anchor that he'll be an okay guard. But I do think tackle or swing tackle will be his pick. And as a round 6 guy, if he's your 6th offensive lineman, you got him in the 6th round. That's awesome. So my least favorite pick in the 6th round is Chris Rodriguez for Washington Commanders. I like Chris Rodriguez. This is nothing against him. It's just he's a power runner only in a system that they have Brian Robinson, who I thought did a really good job with the power running. He does have fumble issues slightly. This year he did a little bit better with it, but I know the last couple years he had some issues. He can't catch out the backfield. He can't pass protect. He's really limited to inside the tackles, goal line running. He also runs a little bit too high. And I think this is a perfect round for him. This is a perfect spot for him as well. I just didn't like the fit with the team. Again, I'm kind of nitpicking here because a lot of these picks I really did like. So that's a nitpick for me. And then best pick of round 7, New York Jets at 220 took Zach Kuntz, the tight end from Old Dominion. He's 6'7", 255 pounds. And I think he's going to put on some muscle. And he might be 6'7", 265, 275 in 2 years. And he still is an elite athlete at that. Apparently, he's got good football IQ. He started out as a quarterback. And yeah, again, he's a really good athlete. He's got a long wingspan. And in the 7th round, this is a guy that I think they'll probably be starting in their 12 personnel packages. So again, I really like this pick a lot, especially in the 7th round. I thought he was going to be a late fourth, early 5th round guy, and he just fell. And I don't know why. In my head, I have no idea why, unless he didn't interview well. But I heard he's got good football IQ. He used to be a quarterback and everything. So, and then I didn't have a worse pick. I tried to go through and nitpick like I did in the 6th round, but I really enjoyed every single pick in the 7th round. I thought there was a rhyme or reason for every single one of them. So cannot complain about that. That is everything for today, guys. I think tomorrow we'll be having our breakdown of the team grade. So we'll go through every pick that every team has made and give them a grade for the draft. We'll be starting with AFC East. I believe it's the Buffalo Bills tomorrow. And then we'll go through with the Dolphins and then the Patriots and the Jets. And then we'll go over to the AFC North, go through them, AFC West, AFC South, and then go over to the NFC. And we'll do that every single day until we finish that. And then we will get into summer scouting, or maybe we'll finish it off with undrafted free agents that I think will make a roster. So I think we might do that and then get into summer scouting. So if you guys enjoyed, please go ahead and leave a like. Go ahead and comment what your favorite pick was, who your team drafted, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.